Welcome to Being at Home with George. I'm excited to be here, and once again, let's begin by creating the possibility of embracing everything, saying yes to everything, and at the same time, generating the hope. And so I'd like to talk today about this idea of difficulties, challenges, hard times being blessings in disguise. And what's to be done, whether we're talking about inflation or the so-called COVID period not being over. In other words, that even though we're supposed to be past COVID, COVID is here. I got COVID during this so-called post-COVID. And this idea of embracing the future, because in reality, the future is unknown. We don't know what the future is, but we can still embrace it, say yes to it, and generate the hope. And what's important for me, we don't know what the future holds yet. We have to live into it. And so for me, what helps me to keep moving and to keep hope alive, or to play what I call how to get to the Hall of Fame with that HOF, the hope, optimism, and faith, is this idea of saying yes to it. And why not create, just like we're creating this possibility of embracing and generating hope, but creating hope as a skill, we have this opportunity to say, okay, what kind of future do we want to live into? And we actually can create that and start thinking about the things we want versus the things we don't want or the things that we've been getting, but creating this possibility of embracing it and generating the hope and seeing, because of the adversity, because of the challenging times, those are the times that our latent abilities manifest. And speaking for myself, I don't know if you can have a more challenging time or hell than being addicted to pain meds and alcohol, and realizing, on reflecting on my experience over the last 38 years, that that's one of the best things that ever happened to me, because that led me to being able to embrace life, whatever comes up, and to generate the hope, and realize that that which does not kill me only makes me stronger. So we have to understand that I use this idea of there's going to be roadblocks, but that's a perception. But we can imagine and we can create the possibility that the roadblock is actually stepping stones. And so that's what's got me through it. This is what we need to talk about. And the real question is, what kind of future are you creating that you're living into? And why not take this time to reflect and decide who you want to be and where you want to go and what you want to do. And that's what I've been doing these 38 years. And I can say that I'm more enthusiastic and excited about life than I've ever been. And I've had a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, and just get through them. We get through them by embracing them and generating the hope and creating a possibility that we want to live into, a future. We create the future. And so that's what's possible for us. And it's challenging. Okay, there's inflation, there's COVID's coming and going, and at the same time, we need to live with it. And it's how we respond to things that's going to determine the quality of our life, not how we're reacting. And that we have that choice, and that we need to create space between stimulus and response. And then we need to be proactively deciding what we want and who we need to be to do what we want to do. And at the same time, what are the qualities that we want to live by? What are the principles we want to align, the divine principles we want to align with? Like love, compassion, loving kindness, wisdom, insight, curiosity, interest. And that if we could see this as an adventure of discovery, and that it's really, that comes down to the richness of our emotions or feelings and the sharpness of our perceptions, that we have this ability to choose how we want to be, to choose how we want to respond to things. And as Viktor Frankl said, that when we find meaning in suffering, it ceases to be suffering. So once again, that's the interpretation of what happens. Why not interpret what happens in ways that empowers, motivates us, inspires us to be our best version of ourselves, to be in touch with that masterpiece within.